All right. Hey guys, it is Friday. What's the date today? September
It
the
is
10th.
the 10th.
Yeah,
Wow.
2021. So hi
Hmm.
everyone. Welcome to the Jen and Bean show. I'm Jennifer Foley, realtor broker and mom working in Durham region, Ontario.
And
And
I'm Fane Grant, all the way across Canada in Abbotsford, British Columbia, with Home Life Advantage Realty. And we're both moms and realtors.
we are. So, welcome back to our weekly show where every Friday we jump on here. We talk about what's happening in the exciting world of real estate. Sometimes we throw in a component about being moms in real estate and wives and girlfriends and all that other good stuff, right? With a spin on all of that stuff from our perspective. So,
That's right.
what
So,
are we
yeah.
talking today, Thane?
Oh my goodness. So today we have a really, what I feel is a really important topic. So now that kids are back in school,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of made me think, well, what's something that I wish I had learned in school, in the school system, that they didn't teach us, and that is money management,
Yep.
investing, and home ownership. They don't teach
Yep.
us anything about that in the school system. I mean, I didn't learn about finances until in college when I was in my business
I'm
admin
still
program.
learning.
And it's always a learning in progress, right? That's the thing. It's never, you never know everything all at once. So
This
it
is
got me thinking, okay, well, as a parent of two young boys, what can I do in order to teach them early about money management, savings,
exactly. Yep.
investing? Like, what are things that we can do now in order to really be able to instill those beliefs and habits? It's good habits that we're trying to, pass on to the next generation, I would say.
Well,
And
and truthfully, homeownership begins long before you even speak to a realtor or a mortgage broker or a bank person or anything like that,
totally.
right? I mean,
Yep.
before you even apply for a pre-approval or, start house hunting.
Yep.
And the process begins, at least a year before you start buying a home.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Actually, it starts, well, we're going back even years back, right?
absolutely, because you could be saving for your down payment for 5 years before you're actually ready.
Yeah.
And yeah, it starts early on in life.
How
One
old were you? How old were you when you bought your first house?
20. Okay, so here's the thing. I was 21. I thought I knew everything at 21. And
Yeah,
really,
so did I.
I didn't know
Anything.
nearly what I don't know could fill a library, put it that way.
Yeah.
So, like I think like the concept was there, but yeah, like it wasn't really clear in my mind. And looking back, the healthy money habits that I have now, I did not have when I was 21 buying
So
that first.
what would you say are some of the healthy money habits you have now that you didn't have, say, well, I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to guess 20 years ago.
Exactly. So, how can I say this? So it's funny because I was actually just talking with my coach about this, about business finance management. And so it's all so relevant. Like the concept is the same, no matter what way you're looking at it. But there's the money that you make. And then
Yep.
how do you break that down into, savings or long-term savings or investing or, living expenses
So I
versus,
think it all comes back to a budget, right?
yeah,
And then cutting out
absolutely.
certain things. And if your goal is to get to home ownership, then I think you need to start um, looking at those things. But again, we're kind of getting a little off topic because we wanted to talk about how do you teach your kids, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So how do you teach your kids? Because I mean, I struggle right now
yeah.
with a daughter who gets money and wants to spend it online now, right? Doesn't understand the long term concept of banking it. But then you can have the opposite extreme where you have kids that every penny they get for their birthday and everything else, they've got it stashed in a drawer or in the bank
Yeah,
and not spending any of it. So I don't know.
it
We're
starts
not
with
psychologists, but just on a, like, I
yeah, I
don't
think
know.
the very first thing I think is, yeah, it's a piggy bank. It's one thing that, now I'm saying this out loud. I don't actually have one for my 6-year-old yet. And I think, the online spending is a huge part of that. Like when we were kids, there wasn't any such thing as online spending. So I would do my chores and then I would get like, I don't know, $1 or $5 every week. And I would put it in a piggy bank. And I don't remember ever really, I mean, goodness,
So where did you come up with the down payment? If you were 21 years old, where did you come up with the down payment to buy your first house?
There was a combination of things. There was a small portion of inheritance.
Okay.
And I mean, it was a very small portion, but it was something, right? And I think that, back in the day when, we were buying a house for 100,000, the smaller portion went a lot farther than it does today, right? So, yeah, I would say, a little bit of savings, a little like
It didn't come from your parents. It didn't come from your parents. It came from money that you actually had saved and set aside and budgeted.
Yeah.
So for myself, I know that my story goes that I bought my first house when I was 24, and my parents co-signed to help me get that house. I was working as a visiting nurse. And so it wasn't that I couldn't financially afford it, but I didn't qualify for it. So my parents did help me out with that, and I'm very thankful for that because I mean, the reality is that people have to look at long-term with real estate and investing, that it's not a short-term gain. Like, yes, in the last year, we've seen huge gains in real estate values, but traditionally that doesn't actually happen, right? So my down payment actually was from money that I had saved from the time I was like 11 or 12, and I was babysitting. And I was saving all that money, and then my parents took that money and they put it with a financial advisor, and so it didn't like grow exponentially or anything like that. But when I went to buy my first house, I did have my down payment, and again, like you, my price point on the house I was buying was 120,000, and I had that 5% down in my closing costs, and I remember how scary that was. And actually, I love working with buyers that are in their 20s. I am so proud of them. I have some clients that come to mind, and I'm like, you know what? If you were my child, I would be so, so proud of you.
Totally. Yeah.
Because I think nowadays, like you're saying, you were 21, I was 24. You don't see that as often.
No.
Right? And now, in looking at that, like that seems so young, right? But
completely. And, we also, so in my experience as well, like we had 3 people going in on the purchase together. And so that's how we came up for it, because I was still a student.
So there's another idea. So this is stuff that I'm seeing people do right now.
Yeah.
And again, this doesn't circle back to kids, but I guess, given where we're at in life, some of these young people that are like 20 are kids to us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
And getting their friends to go in on a house with them. So if you have a best friend and you both are working, and because almost today it's taking 2 incomes. Right?
Absolutely, especially with house prices too. The fact that the market is it's that much harder to get into, right? And I think that thinking outside the box like that, and getting something with someone, and like that's such a great idea. I think the other thing that, when I was talking with, Marty my husband, Marty, this morning, kind of brainstorming the topic. And, I thought we came up with the, just in conversation that, starting with a piggy bank young, that's great. Teaching them chores.
The only problem is, like, my daughter will steal the piggy bank money.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
that's a whole nother issue.
But then from there also is to, teach them working for your money is going to make them value it that much more. And then when you get the bank account, rather than just getting them one bank account, what if you were to get them 3 bank accounts, right? So you have 1 for the money that you make, 2 for savings on the side, And then 3, like long-term savings.
Let's be real. If they're going to be entrepreneurs, which I think a lot of these young people are going to be, that's my opinion.
Yep.
They better open a 4th and a 5th for HST and taxes.
All right. So I was thinking about that too, right? Yeah, exactly. So exactly, right? But then like also, what if when they get into high school or like, when they're 15, like I think that might be a good age to, as they're about to get their driver's license and start doing that, like sit down with a financial advisor and just make them have that experience of speaking with someone.
What my dad did was, when I was working from
Yeah.
15 to 19, 20.
Yeah.
Not the year, age.
Age is just a number, right? It's all about how you are at heart, honey. I get you.
So my dad made me take half of my paycheck and put it in a bank account. And the other half was mine. And that's what I had to spend. And I remember my friends like spending money, like their whole paycheck. And I'm like, what do you mean you get to spend your whole paycheck? And they're like, well, yeah, it's my money. I made it. And I'm like, so like that also was part of that savings. And now, originally it wasn't to buy a house. The money was to go to university.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Well, here I am, a realtor. I didn't go to university.
Right. But it's the concept. And so when you were growing up and you were a teenager and you were like, Dad, why can't I spend my whole paycheck? Like, did that bug you as a teen? Like, did that drive you crazy? Was that one of those?
I liked looking at my bank account, right? And realizing that, hey, there's some money in there, right? So my parents were including me in some of those financial decisions, but some of it, they were like, no. And, I'd say the part that they allowed me to do was when they gave me half the paycheck.
Yeah, I get that for sure. Yeah.
Right? So I was buying all my own clothes. So I was learning at an early age. Those were the things that you do with your money. Like my parents aren't there to take care of me forever and ever. Yeah. So like I really had to differentiate between wants and needs.
Yeah.
Right. So and I learned at an early age that saving money was a habit, right? And that it can take time to build. As an adult, do I still have that skill mastered? I probably could still use a little fine tuning. And,
everybody could. Yeah, for
sure. A little bit of Dave Ramsey coming into my life and, putting some money in a jar, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, starting them young. And I think, but at the same time, like if you're a parent and, your kids are already, 18, 19, it's never too late to say like, hey, I'm going to go sit down with, financial advisor and just talk about, like it's never too late to really kind of want to, install those, those healthy habits. And even if they're resistant to it, I think that that's the thing. It's like, the tough love, right? You can't always, they might not like it at the time, but
and my parents were acting as my creditor, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, tough love parents, right?
Gotta love parents.
Absolutely.
Well, so if anybody has any comments below on things that they could share in terms of tips, please feel free to comment below and hit that subscribe button. And we'll be posting videos every Friday.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.